Hello, and I guess welcome back, because we have started. The Overwatch League season has begun. We've had our first weekend of the league, and we had a lot of banger matches. So we're going to start reviewing them. It's that time of the year again where we are able to go back, watch the matches, enjoy them, and, break it down and, find a new Jimmy. Unfortunately, the replay viewer is not a thing right now, so we're going to have to watch it on the YouTube stream. And if you watched on the YouTube stream in this most recent weekend, it was awful. So we're just gonna have to deal with that problem as we watch it, and then hopefully it'll get fixed in this upcoming weekend. But hey, we'll talk about the matches, we'll talk about the games, and it'll be good. So we have about 4 matches we're planning on watching this week, but we're starting with the Houston Outlaws versus the Toronto Defiant. This was, I think, the last match of the weekend. Toronto Defiant are looking good. They're looking somewhat impressive. They seem to have worked everything out. I think Muse plays really well in this match specifically. The backline's doing good backline things, and Finale had a pretty good match in this one against the Houston Outlaws. But the Outlaws, on the other hand, dominated the Dallas Fuel. Like, it wasn't close in the homestand match. Houston winning the hometown rivalry and being able to prove that they were better. We don't really know what to take from that. It was a weird weekend because Dallas ended up looking really good after that match in their second match, and Houston didn't look so good after that match. So we don't know how to take that. The big thing that we have to talk about is the Houston Outlaws is Dante playing tank. You guys remember when I was like, hey, no DPS are going to play tank in the Overwatch League in 5v5? Apparently I was wrong. Who would have thought? Yeah, so we actually saw Dante go to the Doomfist. He was very, very good at it. But I think he gets a little exposed. And not just him, just like his entire team with the composition that was being played. It felt like Dante was getting isolated. He wasn't able to help his team as much. And Finale, of all people on the Tracer, was running circles around them. So let's get into this match. We'll start watching. We'll start talking about stuff. If you're new to my VOD reviews of like upcoming stuff, we generally talk about the game and talk about the teams in a very general sense. I'm not going to be breaking down the nitty gritty, the individual playmaking. Jane, we freeze frame for 10 minutes and I talk about every player's thought process in this moment. It's going to be a pretty loose, fast getting through it. If you really want to like slow down, watch the match, analyze everything that happens, you can watch VOD on your own time and stuff like that. We like talking about generalized stuff. And compositions and more macro things. And yeah, I like to go on tangents every like couple of minutes and talk about something that is completely irrelevant to what is happening in the game. So these are the 5 players that the Toronto Defiant almost exclusively played with. I don't believe we saw any Hopper over this weekend. Muse was playing the primary tank, played a lot of the Winston. It was surprising to see as much Winston get played in the weekend. A lot of us were expecting Doomfist. That was what I saw of the meta moving towards the weekend. He played one map. He played Zaya on one map. Didn't go well. How did it go? How did Hotbot look?
Not a great start, Matt, but it's okay. Let's talk this Outlaws team. Yeah,
played Sojourn out. Did it? Meh. They walked in. Oh, that's the one they played against Happy Widow. Yeah. Yeah, that was a problem. Happy Widow was kind of nasty. Hisu was struggling. The Heese was not least this weekend. I think Hisu, a lot of us coming into this season, and for me personally, a lot of my expectations of the Toronto Defiant are contingent on the DPS lineup of the Toronto Defiant being good. I think Hisu did not have a great weekend. He was fine. Same with Finale. Like, I thought both of them were fine. Finale impressed me on the Tracer, not so much on the Genji. Hisu was fine on the Soldier, but neither one of them were like, wow, they impressed me. Kind of in the way that Muse did on that Winston. It felt like Muse was making big plays, had impact individuals, while I felt like Hisu and Finale were only really riding off the success of other people doing things. So it'll be interesting to see how that evolves over time. And if Toronto are going to be able to keep up this high level of performances. It seems like it feels like they're in that sort of like tier break with like Houston, Dallas, Washington, where we don't really know where to put them right now. And I think they could easily move up that list. But it's hard to do so right now because it was like a circle of who beat who. Like Houston beat Dallas, but then Dallas beat Washington and Washington beat Toronto. but Toronto beat Houston, but Houston beat Dallas. So it was like a circle of like, it doesn't really make sense. There's no rhyme or reason. It felt like individual team matchups more than anything. So something's got to give eventually, but at this point, it's kind of up in the air. The circle of suck.
No doubt about it. Houston really went all in, just use the pun to create their most powerful roster yet. The same though could be said of Toronto.
New Queen Street is easily the worst of the two push maps. See, I disagree with you. I think Coliseum is way worse than New Queen Street.
They go 500. They're, you know, good against the bad teams, bad against the good ones.
I love it. No clear leader, super competitive. Yeah, the two teams that had like the most consistent and strong performances were the San Francisco Shock and the Atlanta Reign. But both of those teams kind of have an asterisk on them because those two teams that won, they didn't play good teams. So it's like kind of hard to give that justification where all these teams like the Toronto, Houston, Dallas, Washington, they all sort of played themselves, who were all pretty solid teams. So you hire a Muse now? Yes, absolutely. Like I was really impressed with Muse's Winston. We'll have to see his Reinhardt and his other stuff later, but for at least where we are right now, I'm excited about Muse on that tank. So let's take a quick pause and talk about this real quick because Houston are playing. This is sort of what Houston Outlaws were playing around. These are the 5 players they like to play. We saw a little bit of Piggy. What did Piggy play? Do you play like a Sigma? Diva? Was it Diva and Dorado? Yeah, Dorado Diva. Yeah, okay. I don't know if they played a Circle Royale and we saw Piggy. That might not have been the Houston Outlaws. But he did play the Diva and Dorado. He looked good whenever they don't want to play Doomfist. But the big question mark that was raised about the Houston Outlaws was they don't really seem to want to play Winston. And Winston's starting to look like the meta. We can talk about the counterplay of some people think, like Hawk specifically came out and said in his post-game interview, I like the Doomfist versus the Winston. But I think this match will be a great example of like maybe why the Doomfist won't work all around compared to Winston. But this is something that's like consistently evolving. Houston liked playing Pelican on that Echo. Instead of playing the Genji, Pelican played a lot more Echo. I also don't think Echo is very good against the Tracer. I think Tracer Soldier is quite good against the Echo compared to the Genji. I think the Genji can deal with the Tracer and the Soldier quite well, where the Echo kind of falls short in that matchup, especially if you're playing a Doomfist. So I think the Houston Outlaws dive is worse, and what that might potentially do is it sort of leaves too much freedom up to a couple of these other heroes. And the Reaper we saw some teams have a lot of success with. Edison for the Dallas Fuel played it very well with Harbin on the Zarya for the Dallas Fuel, but it feels like the meta is very much not solved and it is changing. I don't really know exactly how the patches are going to work when this new patch that came in with like the Zen kick are going to potentially come into the league. I don't know if they're going to be just like adding it in the middle of the kickoff clash or not. Only time will really tell.
Point gets flipped to the Outlaws in the meantime, and then Biotic Grenade slows Houston down, Matt, but Merritt...
Do you think we'll see any Doha? Unlikely in this current meta.
Dante using the power block. It'll be Merritt TPing in, trying to put some pressure on Hisu.
We'll see Muse are going to be able to take down Iris.
It was really interesting to see how Ana was played. Because it felt like Ana is just so aggressive. Because you just accept that you're going to get dove and people are going to try and kill you. Well, there's like so many flanks. People are like permanently flanking, moving around the map, taking weird off angles just to try and get some space to shoot. But also getting some big plays. That was such a good sleep by Twilight.
As you're able to deal with that, Reaper buys you a little bit more time for the Defiant on the point. So they'll get closer to taking the lead.
Winston is meta. Toronto Defiant proved it. Well, if Toronto Defiant proved it, then it must be true. We don't know. We don't know. There are multiple teams doing different things. Atlanta, who went 2-0 this weekend, only played Doom. So I could counter your point with Toronto Defiant proved it by saying that Atlanta Reign plays the Doomfist better than the Houston Outlaws. And maybe it was less so of a compositional difference and more of a play difference.
You just see they don't even need that much healing if you're the Outlaws, right? Like you end up trading the Ana for Ana, but you have Pelican who ends up using the...
Alright, we need to agree that Soldier Visor is just the dumbest ultimate in the game right now, right?
Just building up these shields.
Like, Nano Visor is like, it's not a matter of like, oh, are they going to get any kills? It's how many people are they going to kill? Because the answer is usually 5. Nano Visor is so dumb, especially when you compare it to like Genji Blade. Like people are like nano blading, and I feel like Nano Blade is just such a throw because you're committing 2 big ultimates, and like Blade like never gets any value. Unless the team you were already gonna kill everyone anyway, it just does not feel worth it. I feel like just not using a naked Blade and then nanoing the visor feels like a million times better than the Blade, because there's so many things that can go wrong with the Blade. It's so much easier to hit the sleep than on the Nano Visor. The Blade is like, you kind of need everyone to be close and you can be run away from, where like with Soldier, you can't run from the visor. But, you know, we already know Soldier's being nerfed in the current beta. Yeah, I haven't really been able to play much of the changes because it happened on Thursday and I've been working since then. But I played a little bit on like Friday or Saturday night. I didn't get to play too much Soldier, but if I like the changes of Soldier, I kind of want to see what the headshot in the ultimate form is going to be.
Follow up and finish off the Doomfist. Yeah, Pelican's so frustrating in this position. Able to laser Muse down and there'll be some stall here.
I feel like Houston just got it kind of flat-footed there.
Back to spawn for him, but the Outlaws with a healthy lead.
So many failed blades. It's because everyone has so much mobility in this, like you look at like all the heroes being played here, like it's so hard to isolate anyone with a blade because everyone has some form of mobility or some way to stop you from just getting value. I think people are starting to learn, it feels like, from the Genji of like, you go in, you kill one person and then you just run away and you stay content with that, or you force out a defensive ult and then you just run away. Like, I feel like blades, especially in the 5v5 in this current meta, you're not going to get those big 5k blades. Like, you're just going to die. I don't know about that beat. Was that beat necessary by Lastro? Why did Lastro beat here? They are 5v4, 5v3, and then he presses Q, but they're also health. Like, he had to have only been using it for Merit, but even if Merit dies here, they're probably going to win the fight. It's pretty bad beat by Lastro. Oh, it's 97%. I guess it's final fight as well. I guess I wasn't looking at the percentage too closely. No, you're right. 97%. Absolutely. No, that was a good beat. You potentially could have saved it, but yeah, it's at the end of the round, making sure Merit doesn't die for that beat. Nah, that's definitely the right beat. My fault.
The Outlaws take first round here on Lijiang Tower. And not an easy game though. Toronto definitely came to play here at the early onset as the Outlaws just...
Whole weekend felt like 30 FPS. It doesn't seem that bad in this VOD. Obviously, this is the last match of the weekend because it gradually got better over the weekend, right? It was the worst at the beginning, and it says they're slowly working it. It makes me optimistic about hopefully it'll be cleaner next weekend. But like, it looks okay. It feels like when it just gets really cluttered, everything, like, yeah, like you see, like whenever like a lot is happening on the screen, you can feel the frame drop, right?
When you satisfy those power block conditions, you know, he is so devastating in the kind of destruction that he can...
Where's Johnny this weekend? Johnny had COVID, so obviously unable to come into the watch point wagon with us.
So difficult. The displacement's also frustrating for Muse. It's not just the...
Yeah, he did some co-streaming stuff, but he'll be around. I will say another thing that I think made the and you can't blame them for this. One of the things that made watching Overwatch League this weekend hard was the observing. You can tell that they're trying to work out how they want to do the observing in 5v5, but there was a lot of like first-person perspectives that made it really difficult to understand what was going on. On top of that, we have like, well, this is a prime example. The scoreboard bugs also made it very difficult. Of like, if someone gets booped off, it doesn't tell you who booped them, and the Merit's on the Houston Outlaws, but it's not green, it's white. So it's like, there was some pretty hard things to follow the game because of just certain like bugs or just like inexperience with like how the spectating should be.
So the Outlaws are trying to delay the first cap potentially. It was only 2 players there. They're hoping to make something happen. You gotta believe, I guess. But
do we know we don't know when the new patch is going to be putting it. I saw the new kill feed in the new beta. The kill feed looks way better. I'm not in love with the headshot icon, but at least they have an icon. But yeah, like the new kill feed is much better on the current beta.
Damage from Pelican over the top.
Yeah. Hitting those sticky bombs, man, a little bit easier.
Something that we actually brought up as well that we're hoping to be able to see that I think would be really cool is you kind of know like at the end of a Valorant round they would show like the scoreboards and like kills, deaths, and all that kind of stuff. We're hoping that we can get to a point where the spectators can press tab at the end of a round. So when the next round is loading in, they will have the scoreboard up and you'll be able to see everyone's like eliminations, kills, damage, healing, and all that kind of stuff. I feel like that'd be a really cool thing to have. So then you can like look at the numbers.
Down on finale, and now Muse has nowhere to go.
It's so difficult as well. It's something you deal with in Overwatch a little bit, but dealing with like players in multiple
Some pros gonna get flamed. They're pro players.
because you had Dante coming.
You should not be hiding behind the guise of the numbers aren't public, right?
You kind of lose merit on your screen at all times. Same with like Iris, right? So you can't kind of just like avoid looking up because then you're just gonna get like pummeled from up high. Makes it really
What happened to the replay viewer? From what I've heard, it's not available right now. I believe they're hoping to be able to get available, but there's no proof. Dude, this was such a good primal by Muse. Gets merit, gets Iris, and then he like juggles a Lucio, I think. Yeah. It was a clean primal. Muse isn't bad at all. Yeah, Muse impressed me a lot.
Lovely opener there from Muse. I'm surprised it took so much more for the Defiant to secure this.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably a little bit more.
Scoreboard doesn't show up when you're spectating. Yeah, but you should be able to, right? Like that should be something that should be available. I'm not saying that the scoreboard will be available right away, but we're asking for that to be a possible thing.
That'll be it across the board. So Finale makes a switch. No longer playing the Genji, gonna go over to the Tracer.
Also, can we talk about Iris? I remember when Eris joined the league in fucking 2020 and we asked him, we're like, how do you say your name? And he said, we're like, we've been calling you Iris. What would you like us to, no, we were calling him Iris. And we're like, how would you like us to say your name? And he's like, can you call me Iris? And we're like, okay. So we call him Iris, and now he wants to go back to Iris. What the fuck? Just choose one. I have to pause every time I go to say his name because I have to remember how to say it. No more name changes. If he wants to go back to Iris, it's over. No, I'm saying no. I'm refusing.
He's pretty safe,
Well, it's not LR15. Yeah, it was like LR15 originally, because that's how it was written. But I think it's supposed to be Iris.
Yeah, there's only so much healing that by.
We asked for Iris. Yes, so everyone should be calling him Iris at this point. He asked that everyone call him Iris, so he should be called that. He is no longer Iris. Whack, yeah.
Big hit from Finale. There might have been a Helix rocket. Yep, fired off by Mirror, but he's going to be knocked off the map. With the binding grenade on Finale, he doesn't mind because I think that was a double there.
Was that a double by Churong? Where does that come from? Because I remember seeing this, but I had no idea what happened.
Now we can be aggressive on the Tracer.
Big hit from Finale. There might have been a Helix.
Oh, you see him. You see him go off. That was actually such a sick play.
With the binding grenade on Finale, he doesn't mind.
Last year Omega rolled. They were both running down that thing. There's a replay of it later. Yeah.
Lovely work. And then look, I mean, the Outlaws are in deep trouble.
Let's go, Churong.
So this is what's interesting. It's like if you're the Outlaws and you can't make things work with this Doomfist setup, and I actually just don't even think like it's really the Doomfist here. I think it's just.
I talked about the Mayhem stuff earlier in the stream. If you want to go back and have a look, I'm not going to go through the whole thing right now.
Almost like perfection here towards the second half of this round. But if you needed to switch off the Doomfist, and you don't feel it's great. What do you go to if you're the Outlaws?
Lastro showing his Lucio mechanics.
This fight's still going on. It's going to be a sound barrier.
Lastro's doing a good job right now.
Insane stuff. He kept this fight going, but the sound barrier for the Toronto Defiant helps them snag that kill on Merit. That's not your bubble, son. He can't be healed inside of that. He was off the
Tragic.
regardless, though, and the Defiant show us a much stronger look than we saw in round.
This is why I started huffing the hopium.
The Outlaws look to be floundering a little bit.
Which rookie supports impressing the most? I think off the top of my head, I would say UV and OG were really good for Atlanta Reign. I think Finn was really good for the Shock. Lastro and Iris were really nice for the Houston Outlaws. Churong was obviously really good in Toronto. I think Twilight had a pretty quiet first match against the Washington Justice, but was better against the Outlaws.
it's like a perfect setup for Doomfist.
Proud to say it was nice to see Malik again. It was awesome. It was awesome, you know.
Pretty quiet.
It's awesome to have like independent events, right? So we can see a lot of other new people come in.
Dealing department for Toronto. Getting a lot of value out of that Winston here. We'll see finale start on the Genji once more. So it seems like
So much, yeah, so much was good. Like so much absolutely had some crazy plays.
don't feel like you're getting any value. Maybe it's just a comfort thing.
The Tracer's also pretty good against the Echo, right?
Oh, this is my problem with Doomfist as well, which I think is hard to deal with, is I feel like Doomfist just gets slept so much, you know? I feel like we see Doomfist gets isolated and killed so much as they create so much impact and they create so much space. I feel like there's so many situations in which they just die, you know? They just fall over and you're like, that's kind of a problem.
As soon as Pelican picks up that first kill on the finale on the Genji, they switch right off of it to the Tracer.
Now, our friend Dennis Matz from the Boston Uprising sort of shared this idea that now in Overwatch 2...
Dante got bullied this session, yeah, and I think that's just, I don't even think that's a Dante fault as much. I think that's just the difficulties of playing Doomfist against good teams.
Crazy.
And people who know how to play against it. Because, like, Dante is very heavily going in almost exclusively alone, right? Like, he just keeps going in, and Twilight's just going to sleep him. If Twilight just knows that he just has to wait for Dante to go and then sleep him, like, it's kind of hard for Dante to do anything about it.
They're able to flip it right back. So you do see how impactful winning that, you know, getting that first blood, right? In, like, an opening engagement is big bio grenade there. Going to connect with two.
Dude, Iris living life on the edge. Does Chio struggle, do you think? I don't think I noticed him very much. I don't think he struggled. Obviously, the first match against Houston Outlaws, everyone struggled on the Dallas Fuel team, so I think it's hard to sort of judge that. But he didn't stand out like some of the other Lucio players did.
Pretty good, but he still had plenty damage and more getting taken down there by a direct hit by Merit. Sticky bombs on Muse right now.
Dude, look at it. Look at this Muse. This is a completely new Muse.
To trade that damage back.
Are they in a position to try and, you know, the Outlaws trying to make a play for the point here? You have like 3 players in the back. That'll be Lasher using Sound Barrier as you have Pelican coming back into the fight. So
I think maybe using Echo and Doom isn't very good because I feel like if you have a Genji with the Doom or you have a Tracer with the Doom, you have someone who can follow with the Doom. But it feels like when they're playing Echo Soldier, it feels like no one's able to go in with Dante. It feels like Dante's just trying to create space and then Pelican and Merit are trying to like flank and catch people off guard, you know what I mean?
Going for that beat anyway. It was just a little bit late on it, but beautiful stuff from Merit.
Double Soldier. Dude, Vice is just such a strong ultimate.
Sneak back onto the point, but they are considerably behind the 8 ball here.
yeah, and you're in a pretty good position for the Defiant, right? You can use your Sound Barrier offensively, give everybody that overhealth, and then just, you know, pick a target, dive, and if you know,
Pelican plays Tracer, the results are probably very different. Yeah, it's kind of interesting to see how it, like, which teams were leaning into what, like, roles and stuff like that, you know what I mean?
Holding on to might be the key here with that binding grenade. Okay, great response.
I like the beat. Yeah, it was a good beat.
Maybe not a full commitment from the Outlaws.
Dante just get it. Like, that's like the 3rd time this round in which Dante has just gotten isolated on his own. Like, trying to create space, the Toronto Defiant just consolidates, and then they just kill Dante, right? Like, they need to change something up. It feels like Dante is just getting isolated.
Orisa will have a Nano here.
Like, I haven't really noticed Pelican's impact in this entire round, except for when he, like, copied the visor, right?
They're moving right now.
Dante's getting picked off so early in these fights. Twilight is one.
Dude, Twilight's literally 1 health. I remember seeing this live. Like, literally 1 health on the copy. And Dante ends up getting him. But, like, Dante dies for it, right? Like, Chorong is literally just farming Dante for damage.
With that Nano Boost and Muse out of position and a little bit low here. 99 encountered them.
Chorong gets Pelican as well.
Oh, they've let it go. They've let it go.
Chorong had a good round there.
Fall in this first match.
C9? Ah, it's not really a C9. Houston were in trouble. What did they only had like 2 people alive at that point. They were trying to deal with Muse, so this is when I switched to Copium. It's just 1 map, right, guys? We beat Dallas Fuel. If we beat Dallas Fuel, we can't be worse than Toronto, right? There's no way.
A little bit more problems, right? Because now you're dealing with the damage of like a Tracer, who's a little bit harder to get to and access like a Genji, and you know, a little bit more survivability, right, with recall. And
It's just control.
do you decide to make some changes there? Because in terms of tank, it seems like you'll continue to run the Doomfist.
Are you feeling the Doomfist comp or the Winston comp more? I think there's validity to both, but I think it's like a rock, paper, scissors matchup of I don't like the Doomfist with the Echo that much if they play like a Tracer and shit, right? Like, I don't know. It feels like Dante just got completely caught out on this match compared to what happened in previous matches, right? Like in the one against Dallas, Dante did whatever he wants. Same with Pelican. They just got to do whatever they want. But I think Toronto proved that if you play like more together and your Ana hits the sleeps, then the Doomfist kind of feels redundant. And like Finale on the Tracer felt like he just had complete freedom to move around the map. So more of the stories I don't fucking know is like, I think where my mind is at.
And Merritt, obviously, exciting prospect because he's such a...
I want to see some good Winston teams go up against some good Doom. You know, like I want to watch like Shock play against Atlanta or some shit, right? You think the coaches that don't want Pelican to play Tracer? Impossible to know. We don't know what the coaches want or what the player wants. I feel like Pelican would switch to Tracer if he wanted to. What coach is going to do? Bench you? I guess that happened to me, so maybe.
Right now, if he's on the low ground, he's ending up on high ground. He's just doing a nice job with dodging Dante.
Yeah, Finale taken down there. Looks like he was trying to harry Iris, but Lastro...
Who would win a Toronto versus Atlanta matchup? Probably. If I was taking a stab at it right now, I'd probably say Atlanta.
We saw Dante essentially playing rather solo, trying to set at least something up for...
I feel like Chorong... Maybe it's not even the Ana. Maybe it's both backline. I feel like Chorong is just ruining Dante's day. Like, Chorong is just constantly shooting Dante, constantly pushing him around, constantly making it hard for him to breathe. To the point that, like, it feels like Dante's trying to force it. And then as soon as he gets through, he gets slept by Twilight, right? Like...
Look at this, yeah. Nice kill. Beautiful. Now, that says he's trying to get inside with Muse as they're trying to track down Pelican, so... Pretty big pickup.
Honestly, I think the backlines are such an important factor for this weekend. People, like... I feel like the meme is that the Lucios are weak, but I think anyone... thinking about it is just like that's not true because I think supports are harder. I think their impact is more visible, right? So just because it's hard, if you exceed that expectation and you manage to stay alive, you manage to get those kills, you manage to pop off, all of a sudden you become way more valuable. While like a Soldier is like, I don't think we're seeing much impact from Soldier players because it's hard to kind of fuck up playing Soldier. You just run around, shoot at people and press Q when you get it. Oh damn, fire down. So I think it's kind of the same with tanks. I feel like the best tanks and the teams with the best tanks and supports have really been showing that and like showing the impact of having those players.
A lot of times even before they expect.
Yeah, I mean,
Pelican is just rolling on the Echo right now.
As soon as someone like Dante goes in and you sort of...
I don't know how Pelican gets that much value with the Echo. I feel like you could get punished by so many people. Like, who do you punish? It has to be the Winston, right? Like, I think the Echo just... If your Echo just sits on the Winston, their life becomes a nightmare. But you can't really do much else against anyone else unless you just, like, rush the backline. Is Pelican the best Echo in the world right now? It's kind of hard to say. You know, obviously opening weekend at 5v5, but maybe. So here's Nano Visor. This is a pretty good counter. The beat counters the Visor. Oh my god, what just happened on the screen? You just got melted. Holy crap. Through the Visor. That was good tracking by Merritt. Holy fuck. He made that look so easy, but that tracking is so difficult. Merritt's tracking is silly. Yeah, I'm excited to see more Merritt. I really like the DPS lineup of Houston Outlaws.
Not surprised to see the Genji switch. I don't think it's like any kind of concession that like...
Alright, chat, I have a question for you. What do you guys think about Finale? Because I feel like some people have been saying that Finale was really good this weekend, but I wasn't sold on it. Like, he had some good Tracer moments, but I don't know. I don't know if people saw something that I didn't see in Finale. I thought he was kind of meh.
Probably the effect that Muse was looking for there. Now another dive.
Like, he was fine. Oh, damn, Muse just got murdered. He was mad. Yeah, that's how I felt about it as well. Okay. Did better than I expected? Yeah, I think his Tracer was definitely better than his Genji. Oh ho ho ho. Ooh, ho, ho, ho.
boost.
Ooh.
Filthy. It's, Pelican just taken over here on the offensive side. We've seen Dante do that a few times, Mitch, where he loads up a punch and Muse goes to dive in because he assumes that Dante is obviously going to punch forward towards his team. He punches backwards right into it.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that was not close on the attack. Honestly, Pelican just came alive on the Echo. And I feel like that's like a big thing about Echo. I think if you get that space and you can play off those high grounds, kind of like Dorado, kind of like King's Row, where there's a lot of places and cover that you can fly around, I think Echo's good, but I feel like Echo gets countered on certain points. Like, Yaki really struggled to get anything done on the Echo, I felt like. Because Yaki was like probably one of the biggest people to play the most amount of Echo, right?
Merit was 4-0 and Dante 4-0, so
After this, Pelican started getting shut down. Yeah, I don't want Finale go to the Genji. If Merit's gonna play Echo, Pelican's gonna play Echo, I don't want Finale to play the Genji. I'd much rather see the Tracer and just like exist in the backline and help Muse dive, because Muse is gonna get bullied by the Echo, so Muse is gonna need more help.
up and trying to make sure Muse couldn't have easy kills. Muse is 1-4, so I mean it's safe to say.
What do you think of calling Merit Pelican to American? I don't really want to do that because it feels like the classic US thing of trying to be like, this is you? No, this is us. Let's go, America. And then when Pelican and Merit start popping up, people are going to chant USA, 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 when neither of them are American. So I feel like that will happen. So no, I don't want that.
There's just nothing for him there. He'd almost rather have stayed in the backline, but you have to initiate at some point as defenders.
And you kind of have like Dante juggling you around, right? Punching you, seismic slams coming in. Ooh, that's a little risky there from Pelican.
It is in Texas, yeah. If anyone's going to chant USA, it's going to be Texas.
Not able to clean him up there. So Pelican not punished. But you can see he's taken a much more passive position on the point until that flight cooldown is off. And again, PLR into Dante.
Yo, that wasn't great. Yeah, like, look at how much trouble Dante is having now. Like, compared to yesterday, Dante was just doing everything on his own, where it feels like Dante just has no freedom. He's just been sitting at low health this entire time. Oh, that was so bad by Hisu. Just didn't get out the door.
You can really kind of throw players off and like where you're going and what you're trying to do on Doom now.
So hard to catch Merit when he turns tail and gets those legs pumping. He's able to pick up a health pack. Was really
if you hit those blasts, if you hit those left click cannons against the Winston though, you absolutely melt them. Playing Doom is risky and hard as fuck. Yeah, especially against the best Anders in the world as well, right? Like, it's so easy to get slept.
To disrupt the Defiant before the fight starts. So Toronto just gets
He was honestly looked average. Yeah, I think he was. I think he was probably the worst player on Toronto this weekend. I think everyone else had their moments, right? Like I think Finale had his good moments on Tracer. Muse on the Winston I think was good. Obviously the backline had their had some good times. I feel like Hisu never really popped off for me. He's like playing the soldier and he wasn't getting that like those high impact visors. He got Widow diff like pretty hard by Happy. Like. What do we think about power block? Ignore CC. If it ignored CC, like, or if you could counter CC with your power block would just be the best ability in the game. It'd be so hard to shut down a Doom because they could counterplay everything. Right now, I think Doom is in a good spot where Doom is just very strong, but his weakness is he can be countered by being pushed around and slept and stuff like that. Your posture right now, I am literally sitting with my legs up on the desk. So, you know, I've just accepted that my posture it sucks. It's been a long 5 days, okay, Gray? I don't need this right now.
Dante is deep in the back line. Merit here trying to force to go all the way on a flank.
Two support ults for nothing, Matt.
Why, dude, how did Churong kill him? Hisu and Churong get that like final 90 damage.
He has to stay inside this bubble because he's so
yeah, good posture on the desk, that's what I mean. I had good posture for a while, and now it's time to have bad posture again.
So Finale staying alive and not playing pressure late in the fight actually means the Outlaws have to give this ground up at the end. So
what are your thoughts on Flex Sports playing Lucio? I think honestly they all did pretty well. Last year I think impressed me the most out of the three. Violet was good, but he was playing against bad teams and their team was just dominating, so we don't really get a true test of how good Violet Lucio's feeling. But I'm sure it's fine. Gangnam Jin was the worst out of the three. I think Gangnam Jin struggled. But it's also the inverse of what we talk about with Violet, that the NYXL just looked to be a hot mess regardless of everything. Nanovisor, baby.
All right, so Toronto, they'll take that second checkpoint. They have a ton of time here to finish the map. The Outlaws to completing the map with 3 minutes and 37 seconds in the bank. So it'll be tough for Toronto to match that, but still.
Will NYXL talent be enough to do something good? As I've said in the past, I think NYXL's biggest issue is they have good players on certain heroes, but it just, if they don't get that meta, then I don't think they're going to be good. And I think anywhere in which they have to play Lucio Ana, like, I don't know, like Myeonbong Ana, in comparison to like all these other players, Myeonbong Ana, dude, Pelican just copied an Ana and then just missed everything. Myeonbong Ana was not very impactful. Gangnam Jin struggling on a new role. Like, it's gonna be hard when your backline's having such little impact. Do I think Vulcan saves the New York Excelsior?
How much like HP you can do in terms of duplicate, right? So
no.
Copying and taking not so desirable anymore.
Well, if you do get Primal Rage, I believe you can kind of go over the cap, but getting that Nano Boost, like another Nano Boost, or being able to get another Biotic Grenade.
Vulcan saves NYXL money. That was the best. That would have been the best joke. That was a good one. I like that one. That's funny. Do you think Vulcan plays a map this season? Maybe eventually, if like everything just catches on fire, but I would say unlikely. I just don't see where Vulcan, maybe they're gonna do it, and there is a secret, there's a method to Kookie's madness, right? And it actually makes sense. I just don't see it. I know Kellum was one of the better players so far for NYXL. Like, I think Flora and Yaki had a pretty bad weekend. I think Kellum actually had some good moments. So yeah.
Hero's gonna keep his backline alive for the time being. Finale 1 HP. Dante comes in with attack visor from long range for Hisu.
Visor, baby.
For the Outlaws, they're forced to focus on the point. And there we go. 1 minute and 3 separating these two.
Yes, Hisu, I believe that's 3K there at the end with the attack visor. At that point, everybody's quite low from both teams, and he's coming up the rear.
Why no Orisa? Okay, so let's open this can of worms because a lot of people are gonna ask this question. Why no Orisa? What composition would you play Orisa in? Okay, let's all think about why she's. Where are you gonna play her? What composition goes around Orisa well, or Orisa fits into? Rush?
5 enemies slept so far, which is
Poke? Not poke. Orisa needs to be too close. She doesn't have a shield or any protection as well, so you're gonna get poked while you try and poke.
See both Ana players be extremely impactful in many of these.
And the reason you don't play Orisa in Rush is because Reinhardt is better. If you're gonna, let's say you guys decide to play the Ryan Lucio BAP, right? If you try and play the Orisa Lucio BAP, the Orisa gets out. The Reinhardt's just better in that situation. You have a shield in which you can protect damage that isn't a major cooldown. Like, Orisa's big problem is that her major cooldowns, like her spinning her spear and her fortify, are on long cooldowns, and you very rarely want to use those. And they also don't protect anyone else, right? On top of that, Orisa's ult is way worse than the Reinhardt ult. And if you play an Orisa versus a Reinhardt, he literally shatters you 100% of the time. As soon as you use fortify, in 4 seconds later, you're gonna get shattered, right? So she just doesn't do anything better than any of the other heroes. And that's Orisa's problem right now. She's fun and she's great, and I hope we see Orisa eventually. But at least for right now, she doesn't really fit in the meta. And that's why she's good in like ranked and like fun casual games. But in the AL level, it's hard to fit her in.
But it is pause for thought for the Defiant to get their tank back in fighting shape.
What, Houston is playing with Orisa? Well, who's going to create space, right? Okay, so let's say you want to do this. So you got the Doomfist, you got the Soldier, you got the Echo. Who's creating the space? Orisa? If Orisa has to go in, say she goes in with her spinny spear and then uses her fortify. After that, she just dies. She can't get out, right? And then the Echo and the Soldier aren't going to have any space, and the Orisa's going to just be absorbing shields and stuff like that, right? So
Dante was able to actually get into that backline and trades his life for the Ana mate.
Just so much damage.
I did see a bunch of the Starboard stuff, Will be. I just said it wasn't able, I didn't have time to really respond to a lot.
You have an advantage in terms of
Or even just jumps past it. Yeah, she also doesn't do enough damage. Like, obviously, you know, the Orisa can, like, javelin murder a backliner. But that's, like, how often do you think an Orisa is going to be able to get on top of the Lucio Ana? Right? Like... And even if you do kill the Ana, like, let's say you do get there and you kill the Ana, you're going to die to someone because you have to use all your cooldowns to get there. Lastro gets Twilight. That's actually such a big kill.
Yeah, and there was a big like 1v1 going down up on the high ground. Kind of see it maybe through your outlines, but Merit against Finale.
Why is Sigma not being played? Sigma's a very good anchor hero. We saw a little bit of Sigma get played on like Circa Royale, where people played like double flex support Sigma, and you're sort of like poking with a Widow. But I think Sigma in general is just too low tempo for Overwatch 2 right now. And 5v5. Nanovisor! Nanovisor is just unreasonably strong. It's literally like a press Q to win.
Yes, it should be Toronto able to take it. Looks like you got Mew still there. Chorong on the point, but they're going to be an OT the rest of the way. As Houston, they have
nerf Nano? I don't think that you need to nerf Nano. I think it's just Soldier, like Soldier right now. And we've already seen Soldier get nerfed in the changes in the most recent beta. That I don't know when they're coming into Overwatch League. Is that fall off damage is back on Soldier 76 Visor, and his damage got reduced from 20 to 18 overall. Plus, he can now headshot in Visor. So the counter buff is that you can headshot in Visor, but you do way less damage, and there's fall off now. Let's go, Pelican! It takes so long to get sound barrier. I don't think he's gonna get one. Oh, Nanovisor! Dude, that was a lot of ultimates from... This is a lot of ultimates from Houston. I guess they're going to win the fight, but... And Toronto used beat... Did Churong drop Ajax? No. Hey, Custa, we aren't rating Houston highly after this shit show. This wasn't that bad of a shit show. I feel like there's a lot of people who... are like, oh, Houston lost to Toronto. That's so bad. Toronto's not a bad team. Yeah, we expected more from Houston after they dominated Dallas, but Toronto's not a bad team. Like, you can't discredit Toronto. Churong doesn't Ajax. Come on, my bad.
Who he duplicates at that point? He's done his job. He's gotten that first opening pick.
And that's a pretty good scenario for the Outlaws. I mean, bear in mind that Defiant finished their attacking side with only...
Casters hype proper up so much when he gets a big kill. To be honest, Finn and Sam carried way harder. Do you think the Rookie of the Year awards are actually a player's worth, or the casters have hype? I think, you know, the casters obviously going to have some impact because they're the people telling the narrative of the game. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I think Proper was very solid, but Sam and Finn impressed me a lot. If anything in there impressed me more. Like, Proper was fine. Like, I didn't watch this weekend. And I don't think anyone who says I watched this weekend and I now think Proper is the greatest player to ever touch the game is just buying into the narrative too much. Proper was good. Proper was great. I think he played a great job this weekend. But nothing about this weekend's matches said Rookie of the Year. Sam has been saying, yeah, Sam was good on the Genji. Like, Sam really popped off on the Genji as well. So, but... I'm holding off all judgment, and I keep saying this about all the San Francisco Shock stuff. I hold judgment until I see them play against a good team, right? Like, when there's actual resistance, that's when we can start deciding these things.
Basically, Toronto have to be conservative, Matt. They lose a play, they might just have to back away entirely. They really have no margin, no road to work with.
And they have to play perfectly here.
Yeah, how do you play careful, yet effectively enough to sort of muscle the
Oh, Eris is dead. Oh, good counter dive. That was a great counter dive by look at this bait, by the way, by Houston. Like, they take space, but like they force Muse to go and then they're all there. Like, look at that. Lastro was over here, Merit's up here, Pelican was like on this roof, and like they just fucking went, right? Like, they just even Dante came back and counter dive. Like, that was a really good counter dive by the Houston Outlaws. Just waiting for Muse to go. Like, even though they get Eris, like, it doesn't matter if you kill the rest of the team.
The way you're gonna have to do it, right? Because everybody is going to get that close spawn, and now you're gonna have to go back and maybe take another one again.
No one is close to UV right now? Oh, no. I disagree with that. I think there are tons of people who are close to UV. UV played well. UV had a great rookie performance, but there's also a bunch of other players that had great rookie performances as well. Like, how does that happen? How do they start losing people first? Like, they're holding the door. They're all on the point. I guess Pelican just got isolated. Yeah, that was a good kill by Finale. I feel like they went different directions.
All these hot takes, reaction Andy's after seeing only one weekend of Owl and APAC not playing yet. SMH.
True.
Jimmy for Owl MVP. Row deep, roll star, all star. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly, Jimmy Lover 69. Easy thoughts. Let's get Jimmy back in. When Jimmy gets signed by someone mid-season, he'll be rookie of the year. Don't worry about that. APAC will play ball. I'm actually really interested to see what APAC is going to play. I feel like it's going to be really cool to see APAC play after being seeing so much from the North American region, right? But APAC better play more Sojourn. Sojourn's just bad right now. In the current game right now, Sojourn is just not very good. Dude, Finale can't die that early. GG. Obviously, I had to touch the point, but... Sombra, please, Sombra. I don't think Sombra's good. I think Sombra gets outpaced by the game. I think it's too hard to coordinate a hack and a kill and a dive, and I don't think Sombra offers enough in the neutral. Yeah, Bull is banned for the bug, but I don't think Bull is going to get played. Like, Bull is literally not being missed in the meta right now.
Shortage of weapons stowed in every which pocket.
Lip Sombra, maybe if anyone's gonna do it, it'd be APAC to play the Sombra. From my experience, every time I've played or watched Sombra be played, she's really good when you hack and isolate a target, right? And then you can like all turn and you can set up a good dive. I feel like 5v5 is not played in that way right now, where it's like everyone's close enough to like hack and isolate a target, especially because the hack only lasts for 1 second and everyone plays such fast and high mobility characters that it's very hard to pin down a target in the way that it was possible in the past, right? When someone was hacked for like 4 seconds, right? I feel like Sombra hacks someone and then they take a bunch of damage and they just run away.
An exciting opportunity to maybe see some of that longer range hit scan play. The Outlaws probably expect to see them.
How high do you rate Florida? I think Florida good. They're not crazy. Like some people are like trying to say that they're better than like, you know, the Houstons and Torontos. I don't think that's realistic. But I think they can beat those teams, but I wouldn't rate them above them. You think Soldier will be replaced by another hit scan? Maybe with the meta changes, but it's hard to really know. Like, as you can tell from this weekend, no one's really worked out the meta, or no one knows exactly what to do.
I don't believe Muse is going to play the Orisa. He's going to play.
What do you make of the Brigitte here?
What do you say, Tracer? I think Tracer's in a pretty good spot right now. I feel like Tracer feels in a good niche. I don't think you need to mess with Tracer right now.
The 76 or whatnot, there's really not like speed here. Like, what are you trying to do, right? Like, there's not like any big rotation you're trying to pull off. Or, you know.
Someone has so much energy. I loved how hype he seemed. As I said, he reminds me of OG in terms of like his confidence, right? And the way he seems to like have that like leadership prowess. Someone is like Chungsick, but good. Oh my god.
Dante just has a look, a bit of a probing attempt at gaining some information. The cart's on the move here. And the ball, I guess, is in the Defiant's court here. See how they make use of this high ground.
I think you're just waiting. I think if you're the
Sorry, Changsick, I love you. Dude, Changsick just taking L's.
You want to send Dante up to the high ground, you're probably discussing like how you're going to attack that now. Seismic slam.
I want to see OG do a BMP. Yo, honestly, I'm down.
Channel a punch mid-air? Yeah. Yep. Kind of can channel all these abilities together.
You know what my favorite thing from watching Atlanta was? It's just because we know they're like, you know, we have multiple names for it. They're the Zuma squad, where they're the sad E-boy squad. But my favorite thing of watching Atlanta is watching them sit in the dark, because they like to play in the dark because they've said so. So all you can see is like the monitor lit faces, and just watching them like all smirk because someone says a joke, and then just like all do the exact same thing. They're like edgy guys just sitting in a room in the darkness, just like chuckling to each other, cracking jokes. It's just like, It's just like, you can just tell they're all like the same person or the same personalities and they're just vibing. Just me and the boys, yeah, like literally, that was like me when I like used to play video games like way back when it was just like, it's 3 a.m. and I'm playing fucking Dota. And it's late as fuck. We're all just sitting in the dark, barely saying anything, cracking jokes. They're just doing that, but they're doing it in the Overwatch League.
And look at how far the Outlaws got in the card.
And the main question is, how do you get value out of Brigitte when you're giving ground constantly?
A good time, yeah, it is a good time, right? Like, they look like they're vibing.
What was theirs in terms of that real estate? Merit, yeah, it wasn't going to survive that. Nice little dive to pincer.
Clean.
Well placed as Finale dashes through and is getting involved in many of these kills.
That took so long to get to that point, right? There was so much like poking back and forth, but they finally get the kill.
The Defiant realized that's a perfect opportunity for them to fight.
Will comms check come back? I have no idea. As I said, that is not in my wheelhouse.
Damages it in, and he just comes on the backside of this fight and cleans it up.
Outlaws are staved off again, but they don't have to walk through the underpass again quite yet. Sleep dart, no connection on Dante.
Are you talking tanks? Who's the NYXL tank? Worst tank performance I've seen in a while. I actually don't think Kellen was awful. I feel like he was just his teammates. That he was just alone. I felt like Kellen was in a permanent state of being alone and not getting the same support as other tanks. Like he wasn't like. I think he had, as I said earlier, I think he was not the problem compared to some of the other players. Like, I think his supports just weren't there for him, and then his DPS were just getting bullied. So, like, I don't know if I can blame Kellen for that one. Yeah, Myunbong got bullied. Yeah. Like, how many times did Nero stick Myunbong? I think it's over 5, right? Which is just kind of crazy. Is Gator gonna play Winston on it? We'll see. Maybe they'll have to get forced off the Doomfist, but they seem pretty content with playing Hawk on the Doomfist right now.
The Outlaw can come from, so pretty easy damage for him as he played towards the shuttle.
So you also do have kind of like a difference here between Houston and Toronto in terms of like survivability.
Nero finally gets the fuck. I'm so happy. Yeah, it was also he seems to. Ooh, that was so close to losing that beat. He almost Ajaxed. Yeah, it's good to see Nero on a team in which like he looks and feels very comfortable on that team. So excited to see more of him. He absolutely pounded on the Genji. We haven't really seen Nero play much Genji at all, but it was cool to see him pop off. Oh, Pelican just got fucking bopped by Chorong. Nero low-key fucked. Yeah, you know, we've been saying this for a while. Like, Nero was one of the in my opinion, Nero was one of the better pieces on the San Francisco Shock.
Just to protect Twilight, keep him up, make his life.
Like, here's my thing for the Houston Outlaws and like why I think they're losing, right? So they obviously like this comp, the Doomfist, the Echo, the Soldier. The problem that I find with this comp is that it's just so hard to get space. Like, Pelican dies trying to take space. But Echo can be quite difficult, especially against a Soldier, to get space. And then Dante gets bullied every time he tries to take space. He gets slept, he gets purpled, and he just gets bullied. And then, like, so who's really creating the space? Because the Soldier's just relying that he gets space from someone else. It doesn't feel like they have an effective dive. They don't have the Tracer to be able to flank and set up dives. They don't have that direct dive from the Genji. So I'm just a little worried about this composition. I think Toronto did a great job of like isolating it and like punishing Dante and showing the weaknesses of Doomfist.
223 and counting here.
Is it just me or the footage choppy / janky feeling to watch? It felt it was pretty choppy. Yeah, no, it like the choppiness wasn't a live stream issue. It's literally just how it was being broadcasted. So it's like, even in the VOD, it looks pretty choppy. You're seeing FPS drops. They've said that they're trying to fix it for this upcoming week, and hopefully they can.
Especially when you're playing in the 76 and the other teams.
Do you think Venom will play? Probably not. Like, maybe in a hard Tracer meta, like super hard Tracer meta. But I don't know. I don't know if there's many situations in which I'd want, like, maybe if they wanted to play like Tracer Echo or Tracer Genji, and like Kai wasn't going to be the Tracer player, they'd play Venom. I do not like these support Echo changes from Pelican so far. He's done it with Ana, he's done it with Brig there again. Like, he should, if he goes to the Winston, I feel like he can get way more space. He can at least bait out the sleep a little bit. Lastro gets 2 on the way out.
also is in trouble.
So Pelican dies, Iris is dead in the middle of nowhere, Dante gets one, and then Lastro's just running people down.
That Iris was in trouble, yes. Just being juggled by Muse with no sleep dart.
Was the Brig planned by Troy and Defiant on defense? Probably. Brig's really good on this map. Like, Lucio can be a little difficult to get around and onto the high grounds. Not the worst thing, but I think Brig is really good at just, like, fucking with people as they try and come in. Because obviously you got the whip shot, you got the bash. And Brig's not a bad character right now. People like to say she's not very good, but she's actually pretty solid. She just doesn't feel like she has as much playmaking potential.
Floating across that wide expanse.
Pelican goes over to the Genji because of the echo issue, so hopefully they can get an effective die. Oh. And this is kind of like the thing that we didn't see from Houston in their match against Dallas. Like, in Dallas, it felt like they were so clean, they were being proactive. Well, I feel like Toronto's done a good job of just slowing Houston down and just getting picks, making it hard for Dante to take space and anyone to be able to take space.
People forget Crossfire, yeah, that he's a poke tank now in some senses.
Lastro gets finale somehow. Dude, Lastro has more final blows than Pelican at this point, I'm pretty sure.
And so Muse is put to sleep now, put under a lot of pressure. He'll have to primal here.
I just thought it was Iris. It was Iris. He's just recently asked people to call him Iris.
Is it good? Primal.
Another primal rage. I mean, I feel like that's really quick for Muse. That's a nice sound barrier there from Lastro, going to connect with 3 players, trying to keep the Outlaws up.
Oh, good.
Pressure throwing away. Make it hard.
They're just gonna nano Muse in though, and this guy. Oh no! How does Merit die? They're just gonna nano the Winston in, right? Oh, or nano the Genji. I don't know how I feel about the nano targets from this weekend. Like, it feels interesting seeing, like, a lot of people seem to be preferring nanoing the Genji. Like, I understand not nanoing the Doom. I don't really like nano Doom. I like the nano Winston. It feels like they like to nano the Genji outside of the Blade because he gets the dash resets and he can go aggressive. I don't like nano Blade, but I kind of like just the naked Genji nano. Obviously, it's best to save it for Nano Visor because it just wins you a team fight, but those are also 2 pretty enormous ultimates to commit to just 1 team fight win. Doom has the nano bug this patch. Wait, what's the nano bug for Doomfist? I actually don't know that one.
You may not want to play that echo and rely on it going into the second part of the map.
It seems that all Merrick could do was to poke a little bit at the Defiant inside the shuttle phase, but he comes away with only one final blow. So
like, I think it was Nero who got the 5k with the Nano Genji, right? With the dash resets on Ike.
Back in the safer spots and get topped up. Go again.
His shield is 90%, but Nano overrides it to 50%. Really? So when he uses... So when you're nanoed... So when you're nanoed and you use your block, your damage reduction gets reduced from 90% to 50%? I didn't know that. That's crazy. I can understand how that works. Like, that makes sense of a coding thing of, like, it's probably the same number that gets changed.
Yeah. What does he do? Like, how does he get in position to be threatening? He's a mid-range sort of hit scan.
And they patch in the newest one? Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Without sort of forcing his way up the top right-hand side. So, feels like a...
Here it comes, dude. Dante's about to get hit with the oldest trick in the book. The oldest trick in the book is about to get got. Overwatch 2 doesn't mean this one hasn't changed.
This is maybe just trying to get a hook and burn.
Oh no. The one and only time Bastion was played in this meta.
Bastion and Owl right now has an infinite KD. Think about that. Why are not more people?
Why do we let Matt say words? He has an infinite KD.
This is why you want to see big bucks.
The wheels.
Want to see mode come out.
It's the first Bastion of the Overwatch League, mate. You are dead right. Hisu, nice.
Oh, nice.
Devastating headshot to Pelican. Really not too bothered right now about Dante because there's no follow-up for the Doomfist, and Dante just gets packaged up in a box and sent back home.
Ah!
Really good start here for Toronto. Being able to get that Roadhog hook onto Dante and then just finish off with the Bastion, right? Even power block, the amount of damage that Bastion just pumps out. Once he goes.
Who came up with the Heaster's lease? Oh, I have no idea. It's come from like a couple of years ago. It's a play on the goose is loose.
He goes and attacks
It's just evolved.
Okay, keeping tabs on Hisu, probably
No one knows how or why we ended up here, but here we are.
Finale did caught himself with a deflex facing the wrong way after getting hit by a violent grenade. So he gets put in panic mode, and this is about to get ugly, Matt.
Yeah, this is about to get ugly for sure.
Hisu can do it close quarters, but Choron gets snarled up in front of the Genji, and
Clean Pelican Genji.
the Outlaws decent.
The thing that I'm optimistic about the Houston Outlaws is that I think they have the flexibility. The only thing that I'm worried about with the Houston Outlaws is they can't play Winston. And the fact that they haven't played Winston at all and would rather put Dante on Doomfist all the time makes me worried that Piggy can't play Winston as well. So I wonder if this is something that we're going to see a consistent factor throughout the next couple of weeks, or if they're going to commit to the Piggy Winston, because it feels like you're going to need to be able to play Winston. Like, it doesn't seem like Winston's going to get nerfed at all anytime.
Muse knocked back again. All right.
I mean, Kaluj can play Winston.
On the cards for sure.
Yeah, but I don't know why that is neither here or there. Oh, good sleep by Eris. What? Pelican?
It'd just be a huge waste right now. So back to spawn again. We're upwards of 2 minutes bird off clock.
And he had Nano there, Muse, and I believe when they wake him up, he actually gets punched into a wall. There's damage coming in from the soldier.
Kaluj also play. Oh, you're saying that like Kaluj is an off-tank player who can play
I mean, what do you do?
thing? Yeah, but like, yeah, that's there's a lot of differences there.
Yeah, you don't have to hit that sleep. And
I can't believe I'm worried Dante will be hard counted. Eventually, the Doomfist is gonna stop working. Like, unless Doomfist is just the best tank by far, which it doesn't seem like it is, I think people are gonna slowly work out what the counters to Doomfist are. Oh, and I'm worried that the Houston Outlaws aren't gonna be prepared for that. You know, obviously, I trust Junkbuck, I trust Jake, but
Pelican's blade is anything but a joke.
ooh, good play by Muse. Got him.
Finally able to pop out that primer that it was holding onto before, and Finale needs to get some purchase here. Dante blocking defensive position, keeps his hands up by his face.
What's the best tank in your opinion? I think right now the best tank is Winston.
yeah, it's
I think I like the Winston more than the Doom.
in this, the
After seeing, I originally liked the Doom way more, but after seeing more of the games and stuff like that, I'm a little worried that Winston might struggle. Doomfist might struggle compared to the Winston.
And he fell over.
So
But I could be wrong about that one.
jumping in, got his bubble. Merritt's going to use the tech laser. This could be huge. Really put it in the Outlaws' favor.
Merritt does give up that sort of
Oh god. And remember, in the patch notes, they're making his right click cost less ammo, which is a nice quality of life change. Did they just run past the Genji? Their entire team just walked past the Genji.
The Defiant can't control server.
What?
Outlaws are just forcing the down during the
Look at this.
And now
Finale is here.
it's Hisu who's in all the positions.
They just run past him,
Damage.
kill him, and then Merritt just comes back and he's about to walk out and he's like, what the fuck?
Defiant can't control
He just like panics.
the server room at all. The Outlaws are just forcing them away. And this defense, I mean, this is turning into an absolute blowout. The Defiant had a chance here, a real one map, but that's
Yeah, dude, Houston just rolled that. Honestly, first point Gibraltar seems like very difficult to attack.
Really impressive defense.
My takeaway is I think people got to stop playing Widow. Like, I don't think Widow is good, and people should not be playing it. Yeah, I know, I love watching Happy kill people on Circle Royale as well. But I feel like out of all the times we watched Widow in this weekend, it only worked out like very small number of times, and most of the times it worked out is because they would have won if they played Soldier anyway, right? Felt like people were missing easy shots, especially on Jibby. Yeah, like I think the only person who had a really good performance on the Widow this weekend was Happy.
Like later in the week, you'll go back and watch this footage and be pretty upset.
That was it. It was so quick. Yeah, I just easy full hold.
Progress off of it, but not able to cap it.
Yeah, Arns had like I guess I always expect high things from Arns. He had an okay performance on.
the one forced into awkward
I remember him on Gibraltar. He also played another map, I think.
situation that went absolutely
Did he play a Circle Royale as well? I can't remember. I feel like he played another map.
Like kind of side.
Trying Defiant will end the season with a better record than the Dallas Fuel. Do you guys think the Dallas Fuel is bad, or do you think that was just a mess? Do you think that we saw a true weakness of the Dallas Fuel in the homestand, or do you think that was just a one-off? Because I'm still on my Dallas Fuel hopium. I think it was just a bad day. Like, I think Dallas is going to be really good again. Worse than last year, yes. Interesting. I think my only concern is Edison, right? And like, remember, we're holding Dallasville on a very high pedestal of like they're fighting for like top 1, top 2, top 3 NA. Edison did not make me feel better after this weekend. His Reaper was good. Okay, before you guys start freaking out. But on the hit scans, on the Soldier, and I think we saw him play a little bit of Widow, it didn't impress me that much. So I want to see more from Edison before I start getting more excited about it.
That you're able to put some damage down from the side, really make a huge impact.
He played Widow and Gelato and did literally nothing. Yeah, I remember him playing Widow and being like, nope.
Sometimes it's already too late. The fact that the Soldier's managed to work his way so far around behind you can put you out of the fight. So both of these teams playing what
I wasn't impressed by Chio. Yeah, well, I can't say I wasn't impressed by Chio, but I didn't notice Chio. So that's also a negative if I didn't notice him in their matches.
Nano Boost, as you see, both teams kind of fighting for this high ground platform here.
Dude, look how much damage Dante just took.
Last show, he's good, man. Out of the equation.
I mean, it gave Dante some time as well to
Oh, wow. Pelican just got fucking rolled. Oh. This is such a feels good when you do this on Lucio. Churong diff. Oh my god.
Just burst damage at the start of that fight. Trades here, Muse down for Pelican. I'd say Houston are probably pretty happy with that. But the Defiant had this sort of high ground, this little shuttle control here, so need to see them unseated as Merit looks to pressure down Finale.
Oh, nice Helix.
Into Hisu, and I think losing Muse there at the beginning is huge because Dante able to stay alive on the Doomfist, probably a little bit more, self-sustainable than a Winston, right? Winston just has the bubble. Doom just has so much, speed and just.
What do you think the peak for Toronto is in this matter? Toronto, it's so hard to say what the peak is for Toronto. As I said earlier, my big concern for Toronto Defiant is their DPS lineup. Like, I really like Muse, Hisu, Muse, Churong, and Twilight. But their DPS line, I just don't trust them to be consistently good against the best teams. Like, I think Hisu and Finale had some good moments in this match, but I don't know if I can trust them to do that consistently. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm worried about. Yo, Iron with the 8 gifted subs. Yo, good number choosing there, chat. I appreciate you. Let's work on 10 next time, but okay, we'll take 8. Iron, thank you very much for the 8 gifted subs. Much love to everyone who got a sub.
Not able to get any purchase on the edge there. Nano Boost here for both sides.
Did Finale play better than Paddy Van? No. Okay, I think the answer is no. I think people have higher expectations for Paddy Fan than Finale. Paddy Fan definitely had some bad moments, but I feel like people just like don't really care that much about Finale, so I feel like the expectations are wrong. You can make the argument that yes, just this weekend, but I guess if the question to me was would I rather have Finale or Paddy Fan, I would much rather have Paddy Fan.
May determine the front score for the Defiant. Muse has the primal here. In that position, he got away with murder. Muse put to sleep.
Yeah, but still Finale was better. I feel like people forget that they played 2 matches. Like, do you guys, what did Finale do well against the Washington Justice? Anyone? Where are my Finale defenders right now? What did Paddy do against their first team? Paddy was pretty good against their first team. If anything, I thought he played worse in his second match. Like Paddy had some weird moments and stuff like that, but like he was still on the Gladiators and they still 3-1 both of their opponents, right? Yes, they were teams, but like I think on paper, Paddy Fan played better than Finale. I'm not defending Paddy Fan's performances, but Like, I feel like people are just blinded by the fact that Finale did well against the Houston Outlaws and they're just like generalizing it off of that, you know? Like, and Finale wasn't even that good against the Houston Outlaws. I thought he was fine. I don't know. I'm not sold on this Finale DPS that like everyone else is. I feel like everyone's giving him so much credit for this win against the Houston Outlaws, and I just don't see it. Like, I haven't seen that crazy plays that everyone seems to be hyping up.
That stops his primal right there in his tracks, because if he doesn't hit that, he was going off the side.
What did I miss? Did you find out why Muse Winston is better than Dante Doomfist? We have not. We have not. I think it's... I think Muse is doing well on the Winston, but I feel like Dante's just getting bullied by the backline of Toronto. So I don't know if Winston or Doom is better. I don't know if there's an answer to that question. Like, I straight up don't think there is a right answer right now because we haven't seen enough. Because I think you can make arguments for both the Doomfist and the Winston, but I think Dante is getting bullied in this match. Especially with Finale on Tracer, Dante just can't go anywhere.
And I don't think you want to switch off with the duplicate because you want to get a use out of that ultimate. But man, the snowball is really coming as you're going to get to the point where you're going to...
Dante looked uncoordinated with his team. Okay, well, here's my counterpoint to that. Of like, the people are saying Dante looks uncoordinated with the team. It's like, I'm kind of curious on what it would feel like if Dante was playing with not an Echo and a Soldier, because an Echo and Soldier can't effectively dive with you as a Doomfist. They like doing damage from like the mid-range, right? So it feels like Dante's just going in alone, and if he gets slept or naded, he just dies. So that's my problem with the Doomfist right now, is that it feels like Dante doesn't have the follow-up. Maybe the Doomfist would feel better if they had a Tracer or a Genji playing with him more and creating more space to, like, if the Ana goes for the sleep on the Doom, then the Genji is free, right?
It's not like extremely forward, right? I think the defense still has an advantage in terms of like how close they spawn. Will make it easy.
Piggy Doom, Dante, Tracer, Genji, Merit Soldier, and that's it. Like that, I have that problem with this pick as well. Is like, I feel like this Dante Doomfist is a temporary solution. I feel like they were not doing well in scrims, and they were like, we need to try something that's going to help us win a couple of matches in our first matches. And it felt like that's what they said in their interviews, you know? Like, it felt like they weren't super comfortable heading into that Dallas match, and they were just like, they weren't sure what was going on, and then they just decided to play this Dante Doomfist, and it worked. But I'm worried about the longevity of this pick. Piggy's probably going to need to learn to play Doomfist at some point. Piggy's going to need to be able to play fucking Winston at some point. He's a fucking bird, screw it. Did Johnny just say bench Pelican? Is that what we're reading right now? This is... Oh my... Pelican slander in my chat. I almost timed out for the hot take. Yeah, I was like, oh man, look at this. Another fucking Timmy coming into my chat. Bench Pelican. And it ended up being Johnny all along.
Progress, right? That you don't really feel like you need to kind of have your foot on the gas and go much further, but opportunity maybe. I mean, I don't know. Have we even seen a push map be finished yet? I don't think so, at least from the ones that we've cast.
It's actually kind of crazy that I think they should just bench Dante. But okay, I don't hate the Dante Doomfist, as I said. I just think it doesn't have... I just think it's not going to live up to the expectations over a long form of time. Especially because it's like, this has happened in the past when people have played, had people switch roles for one hero. Is like, when you see that they're subbed in, like, okay, so who's Houston playing? They're playing against someone good. The Shock? Is it the Shock that Houston are playing about? Or the Gladiators? I think Houston playing the Gladiators. Is it Shock? All right. The Shock, no, right? Like, if you're the San Francisco Shock, you're going into this upcoming match against the Houston Outlaws, and you're like, if we see Dante playing tank, this is our strategy of like, we're just going to bully Dante, or we're going to play Tracer. Like, we saw for, like, think about it like this, right? I'll go back to Johnny. Think about this, right? All of a sudden, you Houston Outlaws, you just struggled to beat Twilight Finale. And now all of a sudden, You're going up against the San Francisco Shock. They know what you're going to play, and then Proper can just be like, well, let's put Proper on Tracer, and then we have Finn on Ana. Good luck, Dante. Like, he's going to get fucking rolled if they try and come in with that strategy again, if they couldn't beat the Twilight Finale Tracer Ana setup, right? Like, it's not going to be close. So I'm a little worried about these Houston Outlaws and what they're going to bring against the San Francisco Shock. Because it just feels like they're too one-dimensional. And if like they want to play like a Winston or even like a Xayah, like let's say for whatever reason they're like, oh fuck it, we want to play like a Xayah or some shit. Like, can Dante play Xayah to that level? I'm worried about it. I'm worried about it. Sorry, wait, let's see what Johnny said so I don't donut wall him. So you would run Pelican, Genji, Tracer, Merit, Soldier? Yes, 100%. Johnny, do you think that Dante Genji Tracer is better than Pelican Dante Tracer? Like, did I say Pelican Dante Tracer? Pelican Genji Tracer? Like, who would you rather have in the Genji Tracer role? Dante or Pelican? Because I think I would have to go Pelican. Peli for comms? Nah. I don't think it'd be a comms thing. But I guess that's an interesting idea that they could speak Korean if they were all... Dante Tracer, Pelican, Genji? Yeah. I think Dante Tracer is better as well. I think I agree that I think... But I don't... When was the last time we saw Dante play Genji? I feel like I haven't seen Dante Genji since Arc 6. McJibbers, thank you very much for the 6-month sub. Am I not getting wobbles during this? What happened there? Why don't I get alerts? It's interesting. Oh no, my headset died. That's what happened. I was like, what the fuck? Dante Genji was okay in 2020, yeah. It's hard to know. It's hard to know. It's obviously a good problem for the Houston Outlaws to have. Because I don't think there's a wrong answer. There is a better answer, but there's not a wrong answer. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see what the Houston Outlaws do with that. But let's keep going.
More than half the game off the clock, right?
How does your headset die like 8 times a day? I think what's happening is like, because we're watching VODs, I'm not like pressing any buttons. So I think my headset keeps disconnecting itself.
You know, how some of these fights can get stalled out for a little bit. You got to get this thing going in your direction pretty quick.
Yeah,
Apollo Lunas, thank you very much for the fresh sub as well.
That is not insignificant. Okay, Merit.
Muse gets Iris.
Struggling to connect there.
Muse gets Merit. Like, dude, Muse made actually so many plays with the Primal, and I actually, that's not one thing that I like about Winston as well. Dude, that's the one thing I really like about Winston over the Doomfist. I think Doomfist ult is fine. I think it has some cool utility, but I think Primal is just a much better ultimate.
It just kind of shows like how desperate Houston is, you know, going up against this clock, that they have to get it going in their direction. Finale doing a tremendous...
Yeah, like he forced out Lastro beat. And I think Lastro had to beat. I remember when I saw that live, I was like, oh man, Lastro didn't need to beat that, but I actually think they did. There's a world in which they lose that, I think, if he doesn't beat.
Now we'll get back into action as the Outlaws, they'll get close to their barrier. Now they'll start pushing. Dante with the meteor strength. Maybe Pelican you know, with a blade in this fight.
Doomfist ult was as good as DPS's escape tool, but it doesn't help in his tank. Like, it's good to have an escape tool, but it feels like if you ever use it, you're never really wanting to go in with it, right? But yeah, like, I feel like too many situations happen like this where you just use it and then they all just split up and you're like, well, shit. What's your opinion of push? I like it. I think it's a cool mode. I think it might be a little too fast. Like, it feels like the maps happen very, very quickly always, because it only goes for what, like 8 minutes, 10 minutes.
See how annoying this is for the Outlaws, right? Toronto can theoretically just get that front spawn again. Getting
the burst is so fast with that like tracer when you get up to that high ground.
How does Hisu get punched by this?
Hisu on a little bit of a flank too.
Like, someone explain to me what just happened. Look at this. Look at his punch. He gets hit from the top of the dildo into the wall. Push is so bad. I don't have a problem with push. I think there's been some really cool overtime fights. This is a really cool overtime fight. I think it's cool back and forth. I think there's a lot of interesting things that happen. And my take on it is that it's infinitely better than 2CP, so...
Fight around this corner. Yeah. If you're Toronto, you don't need to play that close. You have
I think it's a fast-paced game, and I think it's cool for Overwatch too.
3 fight, maybe even 4.
They are so far ahead, Matt. It's not even funny. Remember, when the Outlaws, if the Outlaws get that next checkpoint,
And you see, like, look at what Toronto do here, by the way.
If you're Toronto,
Like, they literally just back out of this fight. So they lose one, but they have the advantage. They don't need to push it further. So they have the Lucio, the Soldier, and the Winston. But they have the bot control because they won that fight. But they know that the Houston Outlaws spawn is closer. So they literally just run. Because they lost 2 of their players. They're like, well, we don't need to hold. There's no reason for us to hold this positioning. Let's back up and let's take a more advantage spot. A fight at a better advantage. So they'll have the high grounds. They'll have positioning. And they'll be a full 5-man team. Trying to have a very good understanding of how to play this map. Yeah, absolutely.
it's not even funny. Remember, when the Outlaws, if the Outlaws get that next checkpoint, they have to wait for the bot.
Pelican pulled a blade?
It takes ages. Blade, Pelican.
Ooh, I do not like that visor by Hisu.
That one. Yep.
yeah,
Not great.
He deflects and
Dude, like, look at, like, where is Houston Outlaws here? Look at where their team is. They just gave up the point.
Blade, Pelican.
Their team literally just, like, perma-flanked. Finale died. Merit went on this wild flank and gets caught. All of a sudden, their supports are over here, and Dante's on the fucking Toronto side of the map. So now they have to rush to the point. Like, I feel like, yeah, I think you're right. Toronto seemed to have a much better understanding of how to play this map than Houston. It felt like Houston were a lot more all over the place.
The Outlaws look pretty confused on that map in general. We sort of get there with them and...
Custa, I feel legit alienated as a healer in Overwatch 2. It makes me not want to play. Like, I legit want to wait until alpha or everyday play. I don't understand what you just said. But if you feel alienated as a healer, you just need to, like, stop trying to play it like other things. You need to be more self-sustainable. Like, the reason you have a healing passive is that you need to be more self-sustaining. I feel like a lot of people hate supports because they just want to play it like Overwatch 1. This weekend, I think, proved more than anything how valuable supports can be in Overwatch 2. Like, they are very, very strong, and they have a lot of playmaking potential, and there's a lot of potential to outplay everyone else. If you're like, I can't stay alive, and then you just play Zen, and then you decide to just walk into the open and be like, man, that soldier just killed me over and over again. Maybe you don't play Zen and don't walk through the open. Or, you know, maybe you need to, like, switch heroes and stuff like that. I think there's a lot of... I feel like it's one of these things that we became an echo chamber of... Everyone was like, supports are bad. And then Reddit started yelling, supports are bad. And then everyone in Super Chat started going, supports are bad. And then everyone just believes that supports suck when I don't even think that's true. I think supports are just different. And they're harder to play, but that doesn't mean they're bad.
Maybe the Outlaws...
I think if the Outlaws are able to escape here at Game 5 for the win, that's a huge sigh of relief for them.
No doubt about it. And way to sort of write a week that's been a little bit bumpy, to say the least. Ilios is going to be the battlefield for this final map. And again, we kind of know these two teams are pretty well locked in the way they want to play.
Opinions are also based on the alpha, yeah. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize as well when they hear like, oh, all the pro players and everyone who played, you know, played the alpha said that supports are bad. That was in the alpha. They changed a lot of things. And the most important one is the support passive going from 2 seconds to 1 second was a really big deal. Especially for heroes like Lucio and Ana, because you're just passively healing so much. Even in the middle of a skirmish, you're healing quite quickly. And what that means is that these DPS characters and tanks need to kill you quicker before you start regenerating health and stuff like that. So I actually think supports actually feel pretty good as long as you're not standing in fucking the open.
Out of the gates and everything looks pretty copacetic so far.
Yeah, and I think you're just going to see both of these teams going to go out.
Oh yeah, they absolutely need more support heroes, right?
The one thing I think you can see is Pelican probably playing more of this Genji. I think bringing the Genji in, his echo has been fantastic today. It's just a little bit of a safer pick, especially when they've been showing so much Tracer on the other side.
But Custa, I paid for the game. I should be allowed to stand in the street. Okay, that's true. But you didn't pay for the beta. Actually, not true. You didn't pay for the beta, so absolutely not. I take that back. You didn't even pay for it. That's like all these fucking Reddit Andes who are like, I'm not going to pay $60 for this Overwatch 2 game that barely added any content. It's like, well, they're not going to make you pay $60. And then they're like, shit.
Okay. Merit on the Widow.
It's interesting because they know that Toronto has been playing the Tracer pretty consistently at this point to try and counteract Pelican's Echo. So maybe they're able to take a little bit of advantage here. Is nothing to really get to the high ground, and that's going to be Twilight taking out
Dante down off the bat?
This should be Toronto.
I don't know what just happened. We didn't see anything of how that happened, but Merit did very little here. Yeah, people just got to stop playing Widow. Honestly, people just got to stop playing Widow. The game happens too fast. Literally, Merit can be killed by every person in this game right now. And if you get someone, one of these people get the drop on him, he just dies. Merit got finale though.
There's really no sightlines for supports even helping there for Dante. The Widowmaker experiment is over.
Dude, I remember that play. That was so cool. I don't know how Dante killed two. Dante actually does so much work on this map, it's just no one else can. Arns closed the stream right now. I actually played against Arns I was playing the beta with like with some people. I was playing with like Aero and Paddock, and we got fucking bodied by Arns. Arns is just playing the beta on his own and playing Widow. Hot fucking damn, dude. He can play Widow as much as he wants in my beta games because he rolled us. But in the Overwatch League, maybe not so much. I watched it. It was awful for you guys. It wasn't great. Oh.
Looking to get back to safety now. Dante, Nano.
Oh, good Nano.
Lightning just punches his lights out. He's in deep trouble as well. He is over the edge, and Dante eyes wide as saucers here because he knows he's got the team on his back.
This was a really bad play by Dante. The idea was good, and I understand why he pressed ult, but the problem is that he gives up the point here as well. He falls out Muse Primal, but it's like, I don't know if that was worth.
The Primal here. Now, like 1v2 scenario, Dante is actually almost able to clutch that. Muse went down.
But a kill is a kill, baby. Nice one, Bronco Bega.
Yeah, the meteor strike sort of the damage from what was blocked by the bubble. Forcing the ultimate from Muso, I think you're pretty happy about if you're Dante, for sure.
Custa, I didn't see the Winston players use the new right click this week. It's because it costs too much ammo. And it's actually something that was fixed in the most recent beta thing, is that the right click doesn't do enough damage, takes too long to charge, and costs too much ammo. They reduced the ammo cost of it in the upcoming patch, and it'll be interesting to see if that makes it feel better. But yeah. Yeah, like there are people that use it like a lot or like from time to time. There's still zip zapping, but it definitely, I know that some of them try to like hold off because it sometimes costs too much. You definitely should not be using it in the middle of a fight. If you can ever zip zap someone with your left click, you should not be right clicking.
85 and counting here for the Defiant.
He doesn't expect the taxi to be there. I mean, you know how quickly Hisu can get back into the fight. We talked about how fast the soldier is. Then Nano Lucio speed boost in there. He was lightning fast.
Oh, finale pulse.
This is down, and this is out of the Outlaws' hands already.
And Merritt dies so he gets the visor off.
No one to turn to, and no real option.
Dude, like, I feel like, did Merritt get a single visor off?
Charge up punch looked pretty good. Outlaws.
Like, Merritt didn't get a single visor the entire round. He started on Widow and then didn't get a single visor. Did Pelican pull a blade? Yeah, he pulled a blade, but he died. Like, I just feel like their DPS got nothing done there. I felt like Dante was the only one who got anything done in that match. Why is Sojourn being played in Owl? Sojourn just isn't very good, especially compared to Soldier. Just too hard to play Sojourn right now. Pelican should have played Tracer. Yeah, I don't really know why Pelican refuses to play Tracer. I feel like Tracer would have been a very easy switch for them, and I think Pelican would have got instant value. I feel like the Echo just struggles every now and then. Like, sometimes Pelican gets like a 5k, and you're like, wow, Echo's so good. But then I feel like we don't talk about the times in which Pelican's doing stuff like this, right? Like, Pelican's not offering anything, right? He's getting picked at in the air, he's flying around, but he's not doing anything in the way that a Tracer would, right? And like, look at how much like work Finale is doing and poking around, but like, Pelican's just absorbing health, like requiring heals, just moving around the point, and just not doing enough damage comparison to what Finale is doing on the Tracer. But then, like, as you saw here, like, Pelican can go in and melt the Winston. So, there's good times for the Echo. I just feel like it's so few and far between that he just feels like he's just doing nothing in the, like, neutral game. Can Merritt play Tracer? I believe Merritt can play Tracer as well. But I feel like you wouldn't... I think giving up the Echo before you give up the Soldier makes way more sense. Could Houston played the Pharah? We didn't see many teams make Pharah work. The only time I thought we saw Pharah was on Dorado? Was it Shock who played Pharah on Dorado? Houston played Pharah? Oh, okay. Maybe it was Houston, but yeah, I don't really like Pharah that much. It was Houston versus Dallas, right. I don't love it, especially on control. I feel like it's very easy to just sort of get isolated and everyone flank everyone else on your team. But I don't know. We will see. We haven't really seen anyone try it on control. Dude, we're getting down to like 3 FPS at certain times. Dude, Muse impressed me so much this weekend. I'm excited to see more Muse. I was pretty harsh on a Muse going into the season, but he turned my head. I've seen the light. Illegal roof surfing, restart the map. That is roof surfing. The illegal part of it is when you are permanently hovering on that roof. Pretty good production quality. Yeah, look at this production. These been on YouTube? Yeah, all of these are going on YouTube. I'll just be uploading them as I get a chance to upload them. Oh, is it Nano Visor?
Rips him limb from limb, and this could be it. The Houston Outlaws might have let this one slip away. They win the rivalry match. They win the headline event earlier this week in front of a screaming crowd, and now just silence.
Man,
yeesh.
you are able to bring it back. If you're the Toronto
100 to 0-2, I love it.
This series, I don't think anyone expected this coming into this matchup with how good the Outlaws look against the Fuel.
Hey, can you stay on the Pharah on your roof until your boosters are back? Those hover places that you can stand on the roof, I don't think your boosters actually recharge during that time. Or some shit. Especially if you like stick. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, it's like, it's weird. TLDR though, your fuel won't recharge. Yeah, that's what I thought happens. Your fuel doesn't recharge when you're in those hover spots. That's it. Houston Outlaws impressing us at the beginning of the season, only to then shit the bed in the next. Well, they didn't shit the bed. Okay, let's calm down a little bit. Then lose the next match. Toronto is obviously a good team. You shouldn't discredit Toronto. So like this isn't the worst loss for the Houston Outlaws. I think we just all expected better because of how dominant they beat the Dallas Fuel. So, you know, all I'm saying is that last year Houston also had a really, really good start and then went on to Houston the rest of the season. So if you're a Houston fan, you got to start crossing your fingers that doesn't happen again because the season is still Houstonable. I hope this is a new version. Like, Houston looks good. They have great individual players. I think there's a lot of things going well for them. I just don't know if I love the compositions, and I think that they failed to adapt against this Toronto Defiant roster. So I would like to see some more adaptation, maybe see some more versatility from these guys. Pelican didn't need to stay on Echo. Maybe move away from the Dante Doomfist all the time. But yeah. We'll see. I hope you guys found this VOD review interesting. Obviously, it's very chaotic. We just like talking about stuff. If you enjoy this, make sure to like the video. Hit the big red button that signs up for notifications. I'm going to be doing VOD reviews out the wazoo. We're going to be watching tons of different games from week on. We got, I think, 3 more reviews that we'll be doing this week on the YouTube. So make sure to stick around. Love you all, and I'll see you guys in the next one.